Coach, you've seen these players, Coach Johnny Abarientos, Richard, Coach Jeff Kaya, Sean. How has the players in the PBA now evolved from the time when you started coaching?
Well,
Are
I
they
mean,
very different? Like we have June Mar Fajardo now that can shoot a three, lights out, you know.
well, yeah, June Mar shouldn't be shooting threes.
But he just did. He just
He
did.
can shoot it, but I mean, he's got so much power inside. Um, I think the players today, as opposed, I mean, every era is going to be different.
Every generation.
Yeah, every generation is going to be different. And I think it starts right now. The obvious one is that the skill level of players today are much more versatile. They're much more athletic. The game is played differently. It's played from the perimeter out to in. In the old days, it was more in to out.
Right.
And so, you play from the 3-point line. So guys are working on different things than they did when they back 20 years ago. So there's an evolving of the game. And as the game evolves, the players have to evolve as well. So they get added skills. They get bigger. I coached Peter Aguilar.
The dad of Japeth.
Yeah, the dad of Japeth, who was 6'6", and now I coach Japeth, who's 6'9", 6'10". I coached Irvin Sotto, who was 6'7", and his son is now Kai is 7'3". So I mean, you can see the generations how they get bigger. Right now, I coach Johnny Abarientos, who is about 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", and I'm coaching RJ Abarientos now, his nephew, and he's about 5'10", 5'11". So he's also a generation that's gotten bigger and more athletic, and so the size and the athleticism is growing all the time, and you see that not only in our league in the PBA, but you also see that in the NBA. You see that in Europe. Guys are bigger, stronger, faster, and so the game evolves. And I think that's big thing for coaches is that coaches have to evolve. And again, that's going back to the idea of continually moving forward. You have to move forward all the time, and you have to continue to grow, and you have to continue to evolve. Otherwise, the game will leave you behind.
Right.
And now, I mean, what's really nice about the Gilas team right now is that we've got generational talents on that team. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or anything.
It's fine.
You've got June Mar, who is 33, 34 years old. He's 6'10", and he is a generational player. There's nobody like him throughout this whole generation. One of a kind, 7 MVP awards, and completely dominant, and had proven to be as dominant in Europe as well.
Right.
And I think that was the big surprise for everybody. I mean, yeah, he can dominate Europe, and maybe he can dominate a little bit in Asia, but there's no way he could dominate in Europe. And every coach that we played against came out with a scheme to stop June Mar. Tried to either double team him or tried to front and deny him, tried to attack him on the pick and roll so you'd leave him off the floor. I mean, they were doing everything they could to take June Mar out.
Yeah.
So you have that one generational, and he's kind of ending his career. He's another 2 or 3, maybe 5 years away from leaving his career. And then you've got Kai Sotto, who's 22 years old, who's 7'3". And how many Pinoys do you know who are 7'3" who can play the game? I mean, he's not just 7'3". He is a fluid 7'3". He is an intelligent 7'3". He sees the game. Maybe because he grew up so much with his father being a basketball player, like Steph Curry, following up with his dad. But there's a presence about Kai that people aren't taking it serious, I think, at this point, and that makes him a generational talent. And he is just starting his generational.
Right. He's only
22.
So by the time that you join, let's say, the World Cup, that's a prime Kai for you.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, at this point, we got 2 generational players that are joining and playing each other right now. He's at his peak, and Kai is reaching his peak, And this is what makes this particular Gilas team so unique, is that we have these two generational players that are combining at the moment. And that to me is what's so exciting about the Gilas team, and the potential that we have. The fact that we have two generational players there. I think Scottie Thompson is a generational player as well. I thought Johnny Barrientos was a generational player. There was no one like him at that time. And Scottie is a generational player in a different way. So I feel like we have 3 or 4 generational players on the Gilas team, and potential for more. You know, Carl Tamayo could be a generational player, along the lines of an Alvin Patrimonio.
Wow.
Kevin Kimbao could be a generational player. You know, and so, you know, it's exciting times for Gilas right now. And that's why, you know, we're hoping we can keep this group together and keep moving forward, because we do right at this point. And Justin Brownlee is actually a generational import.
And who would have
We haven't seen an import
right,
like him for the last, you know, having a career like this for 7 years. Sean Chambers, Billy Ray Bates, maybe. But Justin certainly is a generational talent as an import, naturalized player, playing with us as well. So again, that's just the way the players have evolved and gotten to this point right now, where we have, you know, our 2 biggest players. Our 3 biggest players. You know, we had Philams on our Gilas team, but our 3 biggest players were pure Filipinos: June Mar, Kai, and Japeth.
That's true.
And they were all 6'10", 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7'3". That's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing. And when we beat Latvia after the game, the coach came out, Bianchi, who was a famous European coach. He was the coach of the World Cup, won the coach of the World Cup here in Manila, awarded best coach in the World Cup. He came out and said, we couldn't handle the Philippines' size.
You're talking about how big we are now.
Big we were. And they said we had a hard time handling their size. I mean, how many times have you heard that in the last 100 years in the Philippines about the, you know, and that again, that's what makes us exciting.
Well, our big boys has evolved already with the kind of, you know, game that they have. They have adapted to the change.